Who's ready to get a little bit better? Me too. Let's do this. Let's get better. Let's get better because life is not easy all the time, is it? Can I get a witness? Who would say life is not easy? In fact, some of you have been hitting some challenges in your life, um, and they keep, my wife just used this phrase last night, they keep stacking up. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Like they keep stacking up. And so when you start to feel that way, what do you do in that place? And here's the question I want to answer to you, because you might not connect the dots between the things stacking up and the hard stuff, the hard stuff, the hard stuff, the hard stuff, and then, oh, that wild card, and then, oh my gosh, that came out of the blue. Here's what I want to connect for you. There is a cost to your calling. There's a cost. I mean, if you want to put that, what is the cost to living into your calling, your destiny, your purpose, staying on the path, like whatever language you want to use, drop whatever words you want in there, but there is a cost to that purpose on your life. And the cost is it's the price that most people aren't willing to pay. And here's what I would say. I'm actually going to read a little Bible verse to you. I say this often, and I'm not defending or anything here. I live my life by principles. I just happen to find a whole lot of those principles in the Word of God, the Bible, the Bible. Yes, that's the book for me. So I'm going to read this to you. But it's a principle, people. So if you don't like the Bible, here's a good principle for you. Romans 5, 3-5. In the Passion Translation, it's like a paraphrase. It's really cool. But it says this: even in times of trouble, we have joyful confidence. Trouble. And we have joyful confidence, knowing that our pressures, there's another word, trouble, pressure, knowing that our pressures will develop in us patient endurance. And patient endurance will refine our character. And proven character leads us back to hope. Here's the principle. There is a cost to your calling, and that cost is that when you hit trouble and pressure and pain, you can't do what everybody else does. See, normal people, civilians, the ones that aren't living in destiny and calling, when they hit trouble, pressure, pain, what do? I mean, because like me, you used to be there. They give up, they run, they hide. They point fingers of blame at other people. Well, if it wasn't the economy, if it wasn't the president, if it wasn't my mom and dad. And so, like, when trouble and pressure and pain comes, you know what the first cost to your calling is? Don't quit. You know what that is when trouble, pressure, and pain come? It is the beginning of you entering the process. Oh, man, the process, it sucks. I mean, yeah, there's good stuff on the other side, but when you're in it, and it starts with that trouble and pressure and pain, and then you go into process, because the first thing you got to do in the process is you've got to learn to patiently endure. Other words, persevere, persist. You can't quit, you can't give up, and so you get trouble, pressure, and pain, and then the first thing you got to do, you don't have to be smart, you don't have to be gifted. You don't have to be rich. You don't have to be the best. You don't have to be the most connected. You just can't stop. You've got to patiently endure. Because, by the way, that word patience is kind of important, because the process that you're entering into, it's never going to end soon enough for you. And see, we always get me out of the process, get me out of the suck, get me out of I just want my problems to go away. My frame around that is God's up in heaven saying, learn something. He doesn't want to get you out of the process, because in the process, that's where he does his best work in you and me, which leads to that next point, which is you got to patiently endure. You got to not quit. You got to commit to continuing on the path, because that's where you develop character. See, you don't know what you don't know. You patiently endure. You go through the hard stuff. You realize that what you thought you knew, you don't really know. And you patiently endure. And then you start to develop character, and you start to see things in that character of yours that you didn't realize were there. Maybe oh man, I'm really a people pleaser. I'm speaking as a recovering people pleaser myself. And so you realize that, man, I was doing some stuff just to keep everybody else happy. Or maybe you realize, oh my gosh, like I didn't realize it, but I was kind of getting a little bit arrogant because I'd been so successful and I hadn't hit any bumps in the road. And I was looking at these other entrepreneurs out there and they're all like, oh, this is hard. And I'm over here like, man, it's easy. I don't know what you're talking about. And then when you get in the process, you're like, oh crap, they were right. This isn't easy, because any successful person you know, listen, they are not unfamiliar with the process because they have hit trouble, pressure, and pain. And they made a decision, a decisive decision to say, I will not quit, but I will choose to patiently endure. And as they chose to patiently endure, then they got into some stuff and they started to develop character in ways they didn't know they needed to. They needed to develop some discipline. They needed to develop some humility. They needed to develop the hunger, the drive to like go after and do the thing, right? All kinds of character development things, but we're all going to have some ways that we need to develop character. But here's the good news. Once we patiently endure, we develop some character. This is the phrase that, like in that, it just lights me up. Because it says, and proven character leads us back to hope. See, once you go through the process, and it might suck in the process, but in the end, it's going to lead you back to hope, to a confident expectation. It's going to lead you back to your destiny, to your purpose, to your calling. See, there is a cost to your calling, and that cost is not aborting the process. It is not running from the hard stuff. It is having the guts to patiently endure. It is having the guts and the humility to be shaped and have your character proven through some hard stuff. And it is having the guts to say, you know what, it's all going to lead, if I can endure all that, it's going to lead me back to my path, to my destiny, to my purpose, to confidently expecting all the good things that before I hit trouble, I was confidently expecting some good stuff. But see, sometimes when that trouble comes, that pain comes, that pressure comes, we start to doubt. And I want to sit here today, stand here. I'm not sitting, I'm standing. I want to tell you, don't doubt your calling just because it's hard. Listen, that's part of life, okay? Hard stuff's going to come. Don't, who is this? I think this is Jim Rohn. Don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. I mean, I don't think it's a wish of anything. Don't wish it were easier. Do the work to get better. Become the best version of you. That's what I always talk about. Become the best version of you so you can give your greatness to the world. And you can't do that if it's easy street all the time. And so some of you are in the process right now. Some of you just came out of the process, and the rest of you are like, oh, no, I know what you're talking about. Guess what? You're getting ready to go into the process. And so it's unavoidable. The storms, the trouble, the pressure, the pain, it's going to come. And how you respond in that moment, that is the cost of your calling. Don't quit. Don't pray prayers and say, God, end it all. Like, don't like end it all of get me out of this and make it easy again. No. Endure the process, embrace the process, because you are releasing that greatness on the inside of you. You're becoming exactly who you were designed to be. I'm not saying God made all the hard junks happen, but I'm saying you can become a better version of you, and you can give more greatness to the world because you embrace that process. So what's the cost of your calling? Embracing the process. Don't quit. Don't give up. Patiently endure. Develop the character. Have the guts. Have the courage. Do that deep work that I'm always talking about. Do the deep work that other people neglect and they run from it. Do the deep work, because in the end, it is going to lead you back to hope, to calling, to purpose, and to destiny. And that's what I want for you. That's what I want for you, to fulfill the calling, the destiny you were put on this planet to do. So I hope this encouraged you. Don't quit. Don't give up. There's greatness on the inside of you. In fact, you should get off this video right now and go out there and give your greatness to the world, because somebody needs what's on the inside of you. Don't hold it back. Go give it away. I love you guys. Have a great day.